So friends, the movie begins in the middle of an ocean where we see Chong, a man who, after retiring from the military, now works with his friends catching fish to support his family. After 7 months at sea, when he finally returns home, he finds his restaurant locked and his wife missing. Seeing this, his neighbor tells him, "Oh, Chong, your wife has become a junkie. She's living in terrible condition under the bridge." Hearing this, Chong is shocked and rushes to find her. There, he finds his wife in a miserable state. Then, through a flashback, we learn that a few months ago, some thugs had come to his restaurant. They gave his wife alcohol laced with heroin, and that's how she became addicted. After that, she sold everything they had just to buy drugs. But when the money ran out, she started wandering the streets. Under the influence of drugs, she once failed to take care of their daughter, and the poor child was hit by a truck and died. Coming back to the present, the woman is filled with guilt. She climbs up the bridge ready to end her life. Seeing this, Chong rushes to stop her, saying, "No, I'll take you to a rehab center. You'll get better." But even then, his wife jumps off, and poor, bald Chong is left broken and devastated. The story then jumps 2 years ahead, where a police officer named Andu conducts a raid on a drug trafficking ring. He finds several packets of drugs, seizes them, and arrests a few thugs. But just then, a man arrives and takes away all but 2 packets, saying, "2 are enough for evidence. The rest will go back to Mukund, who is the biggest drug lord in the city." Andu is furious but powerless, because Mukund, an old man with 1 foot already in the grave, still runs the entire drug business. Soon, Mukund's right-hand man, Heta, tells him about his illegitimate son, Sawang, who is in prison. Years ago, Mukund had abandoned Sawang's mother, and the boy grew up to become a ruthless gangster, killing, beating, and dominating everyone in sight. But Mukund doesn't care. Instead, he coldly says, "Do whatever it takes, bring Sawang back." Next, we move to a Philippine prison, where Sawang is sleeping. Some guards arrive and offer him food laced with poison, and he dies instantly. But now, taking Sawang's place is Chong, who wears his uniform and alters his face to look just like him. The next day, carrying Sawang's identity, Chong steps out of the prison. On his way to meet Mukund, he crosses paths with Andu, and that's when we realize that Andu was the one who hired Chong to infiltrate Mukund's world, to expose Mukund's entire drug empire. Chong agreed because he wanted revenge for his wife and daughter's deaths. After all, everything started because of drugs. Now we cut to Mukund, who was talking with his trusted business partner Pei, the city's chief police commissioner. At Mukund's mansion, Officer Andu arrived too, and we found out that Andu was actually Pei's nephew. There was also Pei's young mistress, Nancy, sitting quietly. As soon as Andu saw her, he smirked and said, Nancy replied softly, "No, it was my fault." Hearing that, Andu looked uncomfortable, and we understood that he had feelings for her. A little later, Chong entered the mansion, and the moment he stepped in, chaos began. He beat up Mukund's men brutally, showing no mercy. Mukund finally stopped him and looked at him with disbelief. But the moment he saw Chong's face, tears filled his eyes. He truly believed his long-lost son Sawang had returned. Still, Mukund wasn't a fool. He secretly took a sample of Chong's blood for a DNA test. That evening, during a grand party, the DNA report arrived. It confirmed that Chong was Mukund's biological son. Of course, the report was fake. Mukund was overjoyed and proudly introduced Chong as his son in front of everyone. He even placed his sacred Buddha necklace around Chong's neck, saying, "If anything ever happens to me, you'll take over my business." From the next day, Chong officially started his duties. He went with Mukund's men to meet a dealer named Bale, who had stolen a batch of drugs. As soon as Chong arrived, he smashed Bale's entire gang. No mercy, no hesitation. When Bale begged for his life, Chong said coldly, "Do as I say, and maybe you'll keep breathing." Later, Chong returned home and presented both Bale and the stolen goods to Mukund. Mukund was impressed. His son not only recovered the shipment, but also captured the traitor. From that day forward, Mukund fully trusted Chong. He even showed him all the secret drug factories and smuggling routes. Chong inspected the operations, analyzed their weaknesses, and within weeks, the production became faster, cleaner, and more profitable. Mukund couldn't stop praising him, unaware that Chong was feeding every bit of information to Officer Andu. One evening, Chong met Andu again and handed him a full report, factory locations, shipping schedules, and key contacts. But Andu shook his head and said, "This isn't enough, Chong. Mukund has one secret account. That's where all his black money goes. We can't catch him until he uses it himself." Chong looked straight into his eyes and said, "Then give me a little time. I'll make sure he counts that money with his own hands." there is a private vault that contains a huge amount of black money and information about several corrupt officials. Along with that, it was revealed that Mukund is so powerful because he is in partnership with the city's police commissioner, Pei. So, to break their bond, Zhang was told to create conflict between the two. Hearing this, Zhang went straight to Pei's house for dinner that evening, where he told him that from now on, he would not be getting 40% profit, but only 10%. Hearing this, Pei lost his cool and said, "I follow Mukund's orders, not yours." In response, Zhang calmly showed him a video where Pei was seen killing someone. Zhang warned, "If you demand more than 10%, this video will be leaked." Terrified, the commissioner arrested Zhang and locked him up in jail. But he had forgotten that Zhang was the son of a powerful drug lord. Moments later, Bell and his men stormed the entire police station to rescue him. When Pei got the news, he immediately called Mukund and shouted, "Look at what your son has done!" The incident left Mukund deeply shocked, and his health started to decline rapidly. Soon after, Pei's car was blown up by a bomb, sending it crashing into a nearby drain. Meanwhile, Andu managed to get Zhang out of jail. He told him, "The plan has changed. Mukund could die any moment now. You need to find out the vault's location and password." Hearing this, Zhang rushed to meet the dying Mukund. Mukund tearfully apologized, saying, "I'm sorry I abandoned you and your mother all those years ago." He then revealed the vault's location and said that all the information was hidden inside a Buddha necklace. Zhang nodded, satisfied, but then coldly said, "I'm not your son. The real Sawang died a long time ago." Hearing this, Mukund took his last breath and passed away. Zhang then entered the living room and announced, "Our father is gone." When the lawyer read the will, it was revealed that the next chairman of the empire would be Zhang, and all of Mukund's property would go to him. This enraged Haita, who pulled out his gun and shot the lawyer in anger, shouting, "I worked here for years and I get nothing." A massive crossfire broke out. On one side were Haita and his men, while Zhang, Andu, and Bell fought together on the other. The battle was intense, and though Zhang managed to throw grenades and escape, many of Haita's men were killed. Still, Haita survived and attacked Zhang again. During their fight, Andu intervened, and in the chaos, a massive statue fell on Haita, crushing him to death, just like his boss, Mukund. After the chaos ended, Zhang handed Andu the vault's location and the Buddha necklace. But as soon as he did, Bell pointed his gun at Zhang, and Andu's expression changed completely. It was then revealed that Andu was actually Pandu, an undercover police officer who had been waiting for years to seize Mukund's entire empire. He never got the right opportunity until now. When Mukund asked for his help in finding his lost son, Andu saw the perfect chance. He chose Zhang for this mission because Zhang was a trained soldier who had lost his own family to drugs. He knew Zhang would complete the mission with full dedication. Andu was actually working with Bell, but even then, he didn't kill Zhang yet because he needed him for his next mission. In reality, Andu had killed Pei that very day and planned to use Zhang's fingerprints on the murder weapon to arrest him, framing Zhang as the drug dealer who murdered a police commissioner. Anyway, as soon as Zhang got arrested, Andu exposed Mukund's entire drug operation in front of the press. The very next day, he formed an authority to clean these factories, burning down all of Mukund's production sites. He even killed many workers, poor and helpless people, but he didn't care. His only aim was to become the next chief commissioner, which he achieved quite easily after such a massive expose. However, Andu didn't give up his own dirty business. He kept Bell on the side, ordering him to secretly continue running the drug trade and hiding the drug packages. Later, Andu finally reached Mukund's secret vault, where he found 2 billion in cash. Seeing that, he was overjoyed but decided to first complete the rest of his mission. A few days later, he organized a memorial ceremony for Mukund and Pei at the same location. The event got huge media attention since no one knew these two, a police commissioner and a drug lord, were actually business partners. Andu invited all of Mukund's competitors to the ceremony because he had planted a bomb inside the hall. His plan was to kill all of them in one explosion. As the funeral began, Andu watched from another building, the same one that held the vault with the 2 billion cash. He had also brought Zhang there, planning to pin the entire blast on him. Meanwhile, back at the funeral, Nancy stepped onto the stage, greeted the guests with a respectful, and unveiled a large curtain. Behind it were piles of drug packets and photos of people whose lives had been destroyed by drug addiction. Seeing this, Everyone was shocked, and before they could even react, Nancy slipped out of the hall through the back door. The hall was locked immediately after, and outside she met Belle. They shared an emotional hug, though the reason for that would be revealed a little later. And then, Andu detonated the bomb. The entire funeral hall exploded, killing everyone inside. But unexpectedly, one of the explosions also hit the vault, where the 2 billion cash was kept. Seeing that, Andu was completely stunned, not understanding what had happened. That's when Chong looked at him and said, "Come on, I'll tell you what really happened." Nancy was the daughter of an honest police commander, and by profession, she was also a doctor. She worked at a rehab center, helping people recover from drug addiction. It was there that she met Belle's younger sister, who was struggling badly with addiction. Nancy put her heart and soul into helping her recover, and eventually, she succeeded in pulling her out of that dark phase. However, after Belle's sister returned home, she relapsed a short time later, and this time she didn't survive. On the other hand, Nancy's father was also killed by Mukund's gang because he was an honest officer, and Mukund had no place for honesty in his world. These tragedies brought Nancy and Belle together, united by their pain and a shared goal of revenge. One day, while they were helping families in the shelter, a group of drug dealers attacked, demanding money from the helpless people living there. Nancy and Belle tried to resist them, but they were too many, and the two of them weren't fighters. That's when the hero, Sheng, arrived. He fought the dealers fiercely and drove them away, saving everyone. After this incident, the three of them, Chong, Nancy, and Belle, formed a pact. They would take revenge on those responsible. Nancy was the first to act. She approached Enpei and became his mistress, gaining access to his world. She also caught Andu's attention, making sure he stayed under her control. Meanwhile, Belle pretended to be a drug dealer and deliberately appeared in front of Andu during a raid. When Chong found out that Andu was looking for someone to impersonate Sawang, he presented himself. And from there, you already know the story, friends. Andu thought he was controlling them, but in reality, they were the ones controlling him. When Andu realized the truth, he laughed wickedly, saying, "No one can stop me from becoming the next drug lord." He immediately ordered his men to kill Belle and Nancy. Both of them were killed in that attack, but before dying, Nancy triggered an explosive hidden in her hand, killing many of Andu's men in the blast. Furious, Andu started shooting at Chong, causing him to fall off the building. Believing he had finally won, Andu looked around, but then noticed a camera recording everything. At that moment, we understood that everything Andu had done was being broadcast live on city television. The entire plan had already been set up by Chong and his friends. Soon, the central police chief arrived at the scene and ordered Andu's arrest. As they moved to capture him, Andu tried to escape, but the officers ended his game right there. In the final scene of the movie, we see the government helping people living under the bridge, guiding them toward recovery and helping them overcome their addiction. And that's it, friends. What a powerful story, right? Now tell me honestly, how was your experience watching this one? Did it give you chills or make you emotional? If you enjoyed this breakdown, then smash that like button right now. Let's hit our target of 2,000 likes. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you never miss another story like this one. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.